You said I changed, I only uncurled. You mistook bloom for bite. You looked at me like I was soil, too dark to grow, too cracked to hold. I reached for you with bloodless hands. You recoiled, said monsters never beg. They wrote my name in fear and flame, a myth before I even broke. My silence broke before my bones. Still you said I spoke too loud. I whispered truth in wounded rhyme. They offered rope instead of time. Each stare a noose around my name, each silence carved a deeper shame. I begged in human tones, I swear, but no one heard or chose to care. The mirror cracked, I wore the shards and howled through what they called too hard. They say a monster has no heart, but mine still breaks in perfect time. It wasn't fangs that made me cruel, it was the silence after truth. But I bled where the line was drawn. Beneath their boots I left my song. They buried me in myth and dust, then feared the fire they taught to trust. They made me wrong with every breath, then called me beast when none was left. I didn't break, I just unspun. I rose still mourning, still undone. The memories crawl, they hiss, they bloom. 1,000 hands that left too soon. The story sharpened in my sleep, till grief became the teeth I keep. They say I turned, but I recall the day you smiled, then let me fall. I built my cage with all I lost, and fed the beasts they praised and taught. First strike was breath, not tooth or claw. A scream denied, then deemed too raw. They gasped when I refused to kneel, but never asked me why I'd feel. So yes, I burned, but slow and bright. A wick they lit, then blamed the light. I learned to growl, not out of spite, but just to echo what felt right. They feared the fire they fed with lies, but never watched the match ignite. They called me cursed, then lit the pyre, and asked me not to breathe in fire. I crossed the line they buried deep, not out of rage, I had to weep. They told the tale of who I was, but left the truth behind the pause. So now I stand where silence roared, not less than human, just ignored. You called me beast for all to see, but I was only trying to be. I wasn't born of teeth and scream, I became the echo of your dream. You feared the shadow, blamed the flame, but left me nothing else to claim. If I wear claws, it's just a grip, the edge of grief, the final slip. Your kindness faded like a myth, and left me howling truth from it. If I'm a monster, look again. The face you carved is wearing them. Each label sewn into my skin was written first by trembling men. You call it rage, I name it ache. You call it curse, I name it wake. And every wound you left to rot, I grew into a war you forgot. But listen close, beneath the roar, the voice is mine, the same as before. I did not vanish, I did not fade, I only changed what they betrayed. No crown, no cage, no saint, no sin, just breath and ash and truth within. I howl because I still remember how you flinched when I burned tender. You called me monsters, so I howled back, not to destroy, but just to crack the myths you made of me and mine, and draw my name beneath the line. I never left, you looked away. I stayed and burned, but learned to stay. I am not beast, I am the cost of every human heart you lost.